Hey guys, here with the crazy crew, life with the Jones crew. We are going to be baking today. I have had lots of friends. I don't bake as much as I would like to, but I've had lots of friends ask about the cupcakes I post all the time. It's a very basic recipe, but this recipe is the best I've found. It's not mine. I got it from Pinterest. Clean the table. And don't lean on. We're shaking. Anyway, so I'm going to show you how I make them. It's super simple. I do it all the time. And then, of course, with anything, the more you do it, the easier it is. So I have my little crazy face. I have my little helpers here. Lenora loves to help me all the time. We got her matching aprons. And then Aiden loves to help as well too. So we're actually making these for Lenora's birthday, so I didn't think she'd want to help, but she does. All right, so I'm going to tell you the ingredients, and then of course we'll do it. I really couldn't figure out, this is my first time trying to do a cooking one, so I couldn't really figure out how to have it where we could actually show you. Stop laying on the table, we're shaking. All right, so you need half a cup of milk, 3 egg whites. That's the difference in these cupcakes, because when you use the whole egg, it makes them more dense and not as fluffy. But just using the egg whites make them super fluffy and light. A tablespoon of vanilla, a cup of flour, a cup and a tablespoon of flour. Teaspoon of vanilla is what I meant to say. And I'll repeat these as we're doing it. 3/4 cups and 2 tablespoons of sugar. 2 tablespoons of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of salt, and 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Now, one thing I do not, a lot of recipes I double and stuff like that. When I'm baking, I don't double because I feel like it makes a difference when you double it. Not on my cupcakes anyways. Icing, yeah, you can double that. But the cupcakes, I feel like it turns out differently if you double it. So, trying to bang up against the table. Let's go ahead and get started. I definitely forgot, yeah. All right, so I make it all the time. I still write it down. So just in case I forget. All right, so we're gonna start with the flour. So I always just scoop it out and then let them pour it in. I've got a KitchenAid stand mixer. Guys, quit leaning against the table.
Can I straighten it?
Yeah, I've got a KitchenAid stand mixer. I love it. I got it several years ago for Christmas, and it's the best thing in the world. So if you don't have one, go get you one because it's amazing. All right, so a cup and a tablespoon. I know it's very weird and specific ingredients. So Aiden likes to, yeah. Yep, just do that. Yep, just swipe it till it gets flat. I like to be very precise with baking because it's, if you don't do it exact, made a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. If you don't do it exact, it can make or break your baking. All right, it's fine. Yeah, you can sweep after. All right, pour that in. Okay, so a cup and a tablespoon of flour. Let's see, I got it all over my arms. Okay, we washed our hands real good with soap and water. All right, you want to pour the tablespoon in there? Here, let's Aiden pour the tablespoon, then you can do the sugar. Okay, pour that in there. All right, scoochy scooch.
Should I just put it back on the table?
That's fine. All right, and then I didn't realize how wobbly this was until we started filming her, but that's okay. Whoops. Next is going to be the sugar. So you want a cup and, no, I'm sorry, not a cup. 3/4 cups and 2 tablespoons. So it's basically 2, if you don't know, 4 tablespoons equals a cup. So really you could just scoop out a cup and then scoop out 2 tablespoons out of that because it's almost a cup. All right, here we go. You're gonna do the sugar. You wanna swap? Go over there with Aiden? Nope. Here. All right, Lenora. You're so silly. All right, so 3 of these. 1, pour it in there. 2. Don't lean against the table. All right, 3. She's pouring very slowly. Getting it just right. All right, and then where's our tablespoon? All right, then we need.
Cupcakes.
It is for cupcakes. Then we need 2 tablespoons. They're like, sugar, and it's about to be their bedtime. Here, pour it. 1. You can come over here, but just don't lean against the table. 2 tablespoons. You can come over here beside me. Got it? All right, that's the sugar. So basically you're doing all the dry ingredients first. Was that a sneeze? Bless you. All the dry ingredients. So then we need 2 teaspoons of baking powder.
Can I do this one?
This is something you should have in your cabinet always. We need 2 of them so y'all can each do 1, okay? Got to split up the duties here. Okay, quit leaning against the here. Come back over here with Lenora. Because you got to reach the bowl, silly.
What is this?
Baking powder.
That's bad.
Baking powder.
It's what?
Baking
It's not bad. It's not bad for you. It's what you bake with, but I mean you don't want to eat it.
Baking
Stop.
powder.
Stop doing it.
Baking powder.
They like to mock me sometimes, you know, it's whenever. I knew this was going to be a hot mess express when it's their bedtime. But that's okay. All right, you need half. I have one of those grinders. I don't have any fine sea salt. I use sea salt in mine. I mean, you can use any, but you need half a teaspoon of that. That's about half a teaspoon.
Yucky salt.
Okay.
Is it my turn?
That is all. Yes, that's all the dry ingredients. So I go ahead and put my stop.
I didn't get to do.
It's fine. We've got more to do. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I like to turn it on and go ahead and mix it up.
How much?
This is going to shake a lot while we turn that on. Oh, you know what? I think it's because it was sitting on that. Let's see if that's less shaky. I don't know. All right. That just kind of mixes it up really well. So the half a cup of milk and the butter, those are the first ingredients you need to get out because you want them to be room temperature. Try to get to room temperature. The butter you want softened. Stop, please. So while it's going, I cube up my butter to get it softer faster. Unless you just sit out your butter in plenty of time, but who does that? And then, or you could also, I've seen people do it with a, like a grater if you need it even faster to soften up, but it's been out plenty of time. So I'm going to go ahead and drop it in there with all the dry ingredients. And while that's going, we're just going to let it go. This is why the mixer is amazing because you can do other things while it's mixing. So I've got my milk that's been sitting out. And it doesn't really have to be room temperature. I always just sit it out before I begin and it's fine. You just don't want it like freezing cold. And I've already cracked my eggs. Like I said, it's 3 egg whites, not the full egg. And that's what's really going to make a difference in these cupcakes, make them light and fluffy. So you add that to your milk. You are so weird. Somebody go grab a whisk. That's what I forgot. I knew there was something I forgot to bring over here. There's a big one in the thing that says tools over there, right by the oven, right by the Santa. Yes, we have our Christmas out. It's fine. All right, so the milk, the egg white. No, a whisk. The whisk. She knows what a whisk is. I don't know what a whisk is. Oh, here we go. Knew this was going to be a great idea. Great idea. Yep, hang on just a second. Okay, just a second.
Ooh, look at that.
This is real life for you. Life with a Jones.
I don't want.
And I'm about to use my teeth. And it's fine. Okay, so teaspoon of vanilla goes in with the milk and egg whites. And you try to mix it up as good as you can. It's kind of hard for egg whites to mix really well. Whoops. I'm going to go ahead. Don't lean up against the table. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. Well, no, we got a couple more pieces of butter that didn't get. Okay, go. All right, if you want to stir this.
Yes.
No. Very carefully. Lenora, baby, don't do that. All right, we don't have it in a very big bowl. I should have put it in a bigger bowl. I didn't think about it. So the butter and the dry ingredients, it's gonna look like a cookie crumb consistency. And I'll try to flip it around and show you guys. Okay.
Would that be good?
Let me do it real quick. And now to get the egg whites out, they do make some like fancy devices, but I don't have that.
We're original.
We're original.
We're old-fashioned.
You are hilarious.
We're
is what
old-fashioned.
you're hilarious. Anyways, I cracked the egg. Let me use my hands to show her. Oh,
Oh, okay.
It's fine.
It's making an egg yolk bubble.
it's fine. I cracked the egg and then like go from side to side to get the egg whites out. You don't want to break the yolk. You want to do it very carefully, which is why I did it beforehand to save us a little bit of time. Because it is kind of tedious.
Tedious.
But that's how I get the yolk out. There might be another way. That's how I do it. I mean, it's not really that tedious. You just have to be careful not to break the yolk. See, it's their bedtime, which means Lenora has lost her marbles. So she's over there like acting crazy. This is her last night.
When she wakes up, it's gonna be
Her last night of being 6 years old. Mama's having a hard time with 7 for some reason. All right, so the egg whites are somewhat mixed. Yep, let me see if I can point you down here.
Let me see if I can place it down here.
So I don't know how well you can see it, but it's just kind of that crumb consistency. So that's the butter with the dry ingredients. So once you get it to that, that's when you want to add, yeah, okay. That's when you can just turn it right back on and add half of the wet ingredients we just did. I'm gonna do it real quick, bud. So we add half of them and let it mix up real well. Because you don't want it to over mix once you get all of it in there. So you want to get this part kind of mixed pretty well.
Kind of looks like icing.
It's like
Wait,
icing.
What are we making?
We're making the cake.
Dang it.
All right. He wants icing bad, but it's probably going to be past their bedtime. You're about to get in the bed. All right. Hold that.
I get to hold something.
So just mix it until, I mean, you can kind of tell when it all gets in there. Here, you can be putting these
And that.
and the cupcake.
I'm
Yeah,
really good
make
at
sure
this.
it's only one, you know, to put in there.
Yeah, and I.
Lenora's having a mermaid birthday party. Tomorrow's not her party, but I'm making some cupcakes for her birthday dinner.
We're having Papa Murphy.
Gonna have some Papa Murphy's, good stuff. But we got cute little mermaid cupcake liners at Hobby Lobby.
Hold it a little bit.
So, all right, hustle it up, Buttercup.
Buttercup.
So you don't have to watch me dip these out, but just a tip for, here's what I use. I use an ice cream scoop to scoop it out. A regular size because we're doing regular size cupcakes. I do make the mini cupcakes a lot of times too, just because it depends on the event. Because like for her party, I might do minis because when you have a lot of people, some people just want like a little thing anyway. So I would use the small ice cream scoop or small scoop for that. I don't know if it's an ice cream scoop, but that's all. We have glorious cupcake batter ready to go. So we are gonna hop off here. We've got to bake the cupcakes. You will just bake them for at 350 for 10 to 15 minutes. It depends on your oven as far as the actual time, but about 10 to 15 minutes, and just keep an eye on it. I personally always set it for less time, and then I look, because I can tell just by looking at them if they're done or not. Usually once they get a little bit golden, the vanilla ones, once they get a little bit golden on top, they're usually done. Also, if you do like the sponge test, like if you tap it with your finger, if it pops right back up, then it's probably done. And of course you can take them out and do everybody knows the toothpick trick. So anyway, we will be right back with the icing recipe. See you later. All right, I am back. Put the nuggets to bed. Grab some wine. It's always more fun cooking with wine. So we're gonna do the icing now. All right, so same thing with the other butter. I'm gonna tell you the ingredients really quickly, but you're gonna need a stick of butter for this. So same thing, I cubed it up, cut it up into little cubes to help it soften quicker. Like I said, you don't have to if you set it out in plenty of time. Now for the icing, I do think there is such a thing as too soft because I've done that before on accident. I set the butter out like before I took a shower or whatever, you know, did whatever. And then the icing still turns out, tastes fine. But as far as how I do the little swirl icing usually, and when it's too melty, it doesn't hold its form as well, if that makes sense. So anyway, you just want it softened. You don't want it like super, you know, almost melted. That's why you don't want to soften your butter by putting it in the microwave either, because you don't want it melted. You just want it softened. Otherwise, it won't turn out quite right. So half a cup of butter, which is a full stick of butter, like butter. And then half a cup of shortening. Thank you, Crisco, for making these sticks, because these are amazing and have changed my life in the baking world. Because they're just so much easier than scooping out and having a level, you know, with Crisco, or with shortening. It's just a little, you know, more difficult to handle. But I still cut this up in cubes. I don't know, I just feel like it distributes more evenly. I mean, that might not be right, but I feel like it does. That's what I do. You don't have to do it. You know, since the butter's cubed, we're just going to cube this too. So I'm going to put this in again with my stand mixer. And that's one reason we had to obviously wait for the cupcakes to cook, because I'm going to show you how I put the icing on them as well. Because everybody talks about how fancy it is and stuff, and it's really easy peasy. Anyway, I only have one bowl. You would think as many years as I've been baking, I'd have more than one bowl for my stand mixer, but I do not. So you just turn it on, let those cream together. So half a cup of each. Some buttercreams only do Crisco. I think what sets this icing recipe apart is using butter and shortening for the icing. And then you just do a tablespoon of vanilla, of course, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. That kind of helps cut the sweetness a little bit. Oh, I forgot to grab the milk. I'll have to go grab some milk. The original recipe that I found called for 4 cups of sugar. I used 3.5, so I guess it's technically my recipe, but I don't claim it. I only use 3.5. I don't like it quite as sweet. Again, that's just me. You can do it. I always do a little taste test just to make sure, you know, it tastes right. If it needs more milk or more, which the milk is really to help to get the correct consistency. I'm going to try to scrape this off really quickly. Where? Y'all, I'm going to have to come up with a better setup next time, because it is super shaky on this table. You're welcome for that. I'll point you down here. Just creaming it together. When it looks like it, I mean, you'll know when it's done, when it looks like it's really mixed in really well and creamy. So then you're gonna add your salts. We're gonna guesstimate, because I forgot my little thing. It's only 1/8 of a teaspoon, which is not very much. but enough. That's kind of big salt. Just enough to cut that sweetness. It's kind of basically like a pinch, really. We'll put that in there. And then a teaspoon of vanilla. I don't know why I didn't get the big vanilla. I'm going to use it all the time. I personally like to use the pure vanilla. I don't really like to eat, drink, or bake or anything that has artificial stuff in it. So I like the pure vanilla. It is a little more expensive, but I like it better. I feel like our butter could have been a little bit softer. It's not exactly the consistency I wanted, but it'll still work. Because we gonna make it work, because it's late. It's not that late really, but I have balloons I'm gonna blow up for her. I have one in the car I gotta remember to go get. And I'm changing, we have one of those letter boards above my little coffee bar, so I'm going to change that out to Happy Birthday, Lenora. You know that, if you have a letter board, you know that takes 20 years to change it out. You got to find all the letters. It's just a mess. Okay, so we did the butter, creamed the butter and the shortening together, added the vanilla and the salt, and then we're going to start adding the sugar, powdered sugar. 1 cup at a time. Let it mix together. So we're doing 3.5 cups. This is where you really get messy. Just forget about it. I mean, there's sugar everywhere. We got it on the table. We got it everywhere. This is why we're apron, even though I still get messy everywhere the apron is not. It's fine. All right, there's the 1. There's the 2. There's the 3, and it starts getting kind of thick as you get it in there, but that's what the milk's for, which I need to go grab out of my fridge, which is right there, so hold please. All right, this is the last half of a cup. It almost looks like cookie dough at this point. Alrighty then. Alright. So about 3 tablespoons of milk. Again, you can eye this part. You definitely need to get some milk in there. Soften it up a little bit. You don't want it too thin, obviously. You want it to be able to hold its shape. Now, if you are like icing a cake or something, like you want that smooth, you know, something like that, you might could add a little bit more milk. So there's 3 tablespoons of milk, and I'm going to set this on like really high, because this is where it's really gonna whip it up. Whip it good. I'm about to go one more. I don't know why I put music in the background, because you can't hear anything. It's gonna take off. Check out. Ooh, look at it go. Oh, but it looks so nice. All right. Beautiful. And then I usually just, it's so good, and I don't eat it. It's too much sugar for me, but it's so good. I could eat that whole bowl probably if I allowed myself, but I shall not. I make treats for other people to enjoy. It's fine. All right, so I don't know why I put that cup way over there. Now we ice. Typically, they're cooled off enough. You definitely want your cupcakes to cool off enough really well because, again, it's going to melt the icing. You're working with butter and shortening here. So if you have warm cupcakes, you're going to melt your icing. So essential part of making that beautiful swirl icing is the bags, okay? Yes, you can try to use a Ziploc bag. I've used one before. It turned out okay. It is a lot more to deal with. These, you cut the tip off. I've got my tip on here. I don't know. It's Wilton 1M. I don't know if that helps, but it's the little, like, you know, when you do this, the basic one that everybody does, but it's the big one. Because I remember when I first started doing cupcakes, I got like kind of the small one. It does not turn out right. Anyway, you just cut the tip off, you know, just enough to where it's all the way, you know, where the openings are. And it fits right in there tight so the icing doesn't come out around it. When you use Ziplocs, you have to like hold it because the icing's like coming out this end. It's a mess. Just, they're not that expensive. I get the disposable kind because ain't nobody got time to clean some icing bags. I just cut this off to get my tip out, throw it away. They're not that expensive. This is a 12-inch. Really, I'm only doing 12 cupcakes, but really I usually have both sizes because the 16-inch is a lot bigger, and that's usually what I use. Now the icing is enough, depending on how much icing that you put on your cupcakes, it's enough for really about 24. So here's a tip. Grab a big cup, and I just put this in here and fold it over. It makes it a lot easier. Of course, I didn't grab a spatula, but anyway, sheesh, I can't think of everything, geez Louise. Fold it over the cup, and it makes it a lot easier. See, this is where I'm used to the 16-inch bags because they fit over the cup a little bit easier. But it's going to make it a lot easier to get the icing in there. Got interrupted by a call. It's going to make it a lot easier than trying to like hold it and dip it in there. You know, we can't. Ain't nobody got time for that. All right, so I'm just going to use this. Just trying to see what else I have over here. I guess I could use my 1/4 of a cup here. Let me try to wipe off this sugar. Well, it's sugar, so I guess it doesn't matter. All right. Anyway, I usually use a spatula, but whatevs. I'm gonna scrape off. This is the part the kids love, of course, but it was time for them to go to bed. They were getting crazy. They both wanted to help us. Said, y'all can't be getting crazy now. Of course, what do? They start fighting over who's doing what. Y'all get out. All right, just scooping it out, putting it in the bag. And then I'm gonna point the camera down to the cupcake so you can see what I'm doing. You don't wanna fill the bag too much. I'm not gonna need all this icing because we only have, again, 12 cupcakes. We'll just start with this much and see how it goes. So try to get it. This part can get really messy too. Sometimes you got like icing coming out this way that, you know, it's crazy. Just squeeze it down until you start seeing it come out. Okay, let me point you over this way. Let's see. Hopefully my phone won't, well, let's shorten it and then tilt it down instead of tilting it all the way down and it'll go crazy probably. We'll go shorter. There we go. All right, can you see? Great, perfect, check it out. All right, this is very easy. All you do is just go at it. Now I start out and then swirl up. That's how I do it. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to do it, but that's how I do it. So there's a little air bubble, but that's okay, just keep going. So you're squeezing from the top. Once you get a handle on it, you kind of feel, I mean, whatever's comfortable for you. I mean, you can do it, the icing even higher if you want to. Get crazy with it. But I'm telling you, this cupcake recipe mixed with this icing, you will be a hit. I mean, it is the best. See, I do need some more icing because these bags are so much smaller. For some reason, I thought 12-inch would be fine, but it's not. So get 16-inch. It's much easier. Wow, that really didn't make that much icing either for 12. And I just told you, well, don't take my word on the 24. Thought it usually makes more, but that's okay. All right. Now I'm probably gonna have more air bubbles in this one since I added to it, but that's okay. You need to calm down. You're being too loud. Now you can, this is the basic recipe. You can, once you get your icing made, you can add colors to it. I was gonna do it tonight, but I mean, it's just too late. I got too much to do all that. Because that does take, obviously, look how beautiful those are. What? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So anyway, as soon as you get your icing made, that's when you can put some, I use gel now. You know, they have the gel food coloring. I use that for my icing. So as soon as you get the icing done all the way, you know how you want it, that's when you add the gel. And I think I'm gonna do, for her mermaid birthday, I think I might do, I haven't decided if I'm doing a cake or cupcakes, but I might do like a triple color, like swirl, which will be fun. Fun for me. So anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope you try it out. Let me know if you have any questions. Of course, it is the holiday season, so I will be baking a lot more. So I'll try to do some more videos for you guys, so to give you some tips from my kitchen. Y'all have a great day, night, whatever you are. Bye.